We continue to the second part of the 19th letter. This letter has a parallel to the previous letter. It's like part 2, 19. Netzach Hod Yesod Malchus, the lower spheres that extend to the recipient. So we spoke about that in the previous letter, or previous first part of the letter. And so here the Alter Rebbe explains that letters are revealed to us and exist in action, speech, and thought. What does that mean? Letters. So letters in a Torah scroll, that's action. Those are letters that are in the world of action. Why? Because there was an action taken to put those letters there. Right? There are letters, you have to take a, well, not a pen, but and write the letters. So that's in the world of act. Those are letters in action. But then you have letters in speech. What does that mean? Exactly what I'm doing right now. I am saying words made up of letters, and you're hearing them. You're not seeing them, you're hearing them. Right? You're hearing them. Then you have letters of thought. Well, after this class, hopefully, you're going to be somewhat in thought. And maybe you might even want to journal. So you're going to take some of the things that you heard. Now you're going to mull it over in your own mind. Right? So those are letters of thought. Right? Now, the letters of all languages, letters in all languages, whether the Holy Tongue or not, are all, have the same 22 different forms of letters. Only 22. Not more, not less. So Alter Rebbe says that letters that are of thought reflect the world of Bria, which is the world of comprehension. Letters that come from speech, like me speaking now, that form letters, words, is the world of Yitzira. First, the world of Bria, world of comprehension, the world of Yitzira, the world of emotions. And then finally, you have the letters of action, like written in a Torah scroll, for example. That is the world of Asiya, the world of action. And he says all of these words and combinations that remain in thought, or all of these letters, are an extension of the vital force of Netzach Hod Yesod Malchus that vests itself from a higher world into a lower world. So from the world of Bria to Yitzira and Asiya, and gives rise to letters that animate, as letters are a vital force that animates in each respective world. Okay. So we learned a lot over here. Let's go to questions and answers. Let's go to questions and answers because we learned a lot of ideas here. Do we have any questions on Facebook? 2 question marks before you ask a question, please. And if you can share I know now, I know now that. I don't see any questions. Davida, I missed something. No questions.
I just posted a question, Rabbi.
Sure, go ahead.
So you said a lot of things, and I wrote down some of the things you said. But one thing that stuck out for me was how the different worlds like affect different parts of the soul of the human.
Right.
So you said that emotions come from the world of Yetzirah.
Right. Yeah.
Like that's very high level, but
You cut out for a moment.
so the fact that like emotions come from a different world, what does that really mean for the individual? Like, how do you, is that the subconscious? Like, could you explain that a little more?
What does that mean? Well, first of all, I'm talking when we're speaking about divine emotions, right? So divine emotions are um, let me give some perspective over here. If you have a group of scientists, right, and they're speaking science, right? They're speaking science. Do they have emotions? Yes. But what is the primary thing that you relate to in the discussion of scientists talking science? Is intelligence. They have emotions, but the emotions are more in the back burner when they're having I don't mean a heated debate, but just it might be emotional, but they're talking science. So yes, they have emotions, but the emotions are not too relevant in the moment, right? What's relevant is their their comprehension, and that's their discussion, and their discussion with what they comprehend in an area of science, right? So that's the world of Bria. It's primarily the world of divine comprehension. Is there emotions there? Is there other things? Yes. But what's the main dominant expression there of the divine is comprehension. The world of Yitzira is like, you're getting a bunch of poets together, right? Do they have intelligence? Yeah, of course they have intelligence. But when they're sharing their poetry, it may express some intelligence, but it's really more so expressing feelings. Let let's assume for a moment, right, for the metaphor's sake, right? It's really more expression of feelings. Now, they may be even smarter than the scientists, but at that moment, when poets are getting together and sharing, they're sharing more from feelings than they are from their intelligence. So the intelligence takes a back burner. That's the world of Yitzira, that it's more divine emotions that's expressed there on that level. It's the same thing as in us. We have all of these. We are a complete makeup of all, but sometimes we express more one thing than the other thing. So I think that's the important way to appreciate this concept. So when we're speaking about the divine, when we're speaking about the divine, um, second, no, when we're speaking about the divine, we are that's the reference point. Does that bring some clarity?
Yes, because um, we're not an integrated whole. Like, we can't express everything at the same time, is what I understand. Is that correct?
True.
So then, when we look at ourselves or other people, like we get an impression of whatever it is we see and comprehend and what the person is expressing to us at the time. But like that's just whatever's revealed at that time.
Right.
Correct?
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, so I totally understand what you're saying. Thank you.
Thank you. Eliana, please share.
Hi, good morning. So,
Good morning.
going back to the first lesson of today, when we're talking about the, seeing and hearing and prophets and the sages, can we relate that to Shemot 20, Exodus 20, where it says that the people saw the thunder? Because there we have the same concept. You can't really see thunder. You can hear it, but they saw it. So in that moment, was Hashem like displaying himself in both the thought or in the vision and in the comprehension?
Yes. Others, it was so real to them, right? That's why their souls took flight. The revelation of godliness was so impactful, that they saw that which is usually heard. Exactly. Their souls took flight. It was just too much for them. Like, God forbid if you saw a horrific scene, right? You can imagine the indelible mark that it makes seeing such a horrific scene. I mean, here we're talking about a very positive scene of godliness, right? But you saw, like, a horrific car accident, or whatever. As opposed to, someone told you about the car accident or some horrific scene, so that's exactly, the indelible mark that it makes upon you. So yes, in Mount Sinai, they saw that which is heard. In other words, it was that which is godliness. It was so real to them. It wasn't like physical sight of physical God, right? It wasn't that, but it was as in the idea of seeing. Seeing is believing. Seeing makes that indelible mark. I can still picture today, like, wow. I think it might have been exactly 40 years ago. Maybe last week or 2 weeks ago. Wow. Yeah, no, actually this past weekend. Wow, look at that. Going for a Shabbaton up north to a campsite, and we were like, whatever, left the city late, and whatever it was, we were late. And it didn't look we were going to make it for Shabbos to get there. In fact, we had to leave the car on the side of the road and walk for, I don't know, an hour and a half or two to make it to the. But at one point we didn't matter. Why? Because it was a 4-car pile up an accident, and it was like I could still picture exactly. I saw it. I explained it to somebody else. Didn't make the same impression. So you're right. They saw godliness, not in the sense that is truly real to them. But by the way, just to finish off that point, Eliana, what's the problem with the seeing? There's no ownership. It's not yours. And that's why the Jews saw godliness at Mount Sinai, but they didn't internalize it. And that's why 40 days later, they were able to sin with the sin of the golden calf. Because you need the ownership, that it comes down into something that you apprehend, that you get it, and it's yours. But they didn't get it. It was beyond them. Thank you. Is there a special day in the calendar that recommends not to eat fish? No. Fish, a fast day, like today, Yom Kippur, right? But otherwise, Greg. Are all mitzvahs equal? In one way, yes. Yes. In a certain way, all mitzvahs are equal because they're the will of God. But there might be something more important mitzvah to do right now than another mitzvah. Did I miss any other? No, I don't see. All right. Anybody else with a question, comment, thought? All right, folks. Great. Is that why the Shema is only here? Shema means to hear. Yeah, actually, it's interesting. The Shema is to bring us to hear, to own the fact that Hashem Elokeinu, that Hashem, that the transcendence of God is ours. Hashem Elokeinu, that it's ours. In other words, Hashem that's transcendent is Elokeinu, is our power, our source. That we have transcendence, and yeah, we have to. It's a meditation, a contemplation, exactly. And that's why it says Shema. Hear, hear, O Israel. Very good. Thank you.
Rabbi?
Yes.
Is this why the prayers that we say, like, and we recite from, like, the books and the Zohar and, like, the different prayers are so, like, in my mind, impactful because the act of reading and really taking it in, those words, and comprehending them, those words don't really come from us. They come from a higher place.
Right.
Does that, like, infuse something in us? Because in my mind, it gives me a different perception of, like, the whole world.
Yes, absolutely. So the prayers, since they're holy words, they kind of carry the weight, and actually, it ties in with the idea that we said, like in Torah, there's the written word, and then the way it's verbalized. Some words, by the way, not just some words are that way. That it's written one way. In other words, its vision is one thing, but it's verbalization, it's hearing, it's pronounced in a different way. Why? Because there's two aspects to the Torah. There's that which transcends understanding, you just see it, and then that which is meant the way it's meant to be understood. So we need to know that there is both things at the same time. That which transcends my understanding and that which I do get and comprehend and understand. So in prayer, likewise, the words are holy. They transcend our understanding, even when we don't understand. We don't really understand, but we say the words, we verbalize words. Those words carry us beyond our understanding. They're so powerful. At the same time, they're meant to be understood, right? They're meant to be understood and comprehended. So you have that which transcends and that which you comprehend in the prayers itself also. Yeah, very good. Good point. Reminder today, Rambam, we will have today at 12:45 coming back. Yes. Okay, folks. Wonderful. Amazing, as always. As I'm always inspired by you guys. The thirst to learn, Tanya. All right. Yes, so today, 12:45, 770, 6085 is the Zoom. The address for Zoom. Come and join us.
Thank you so much, Rabbi.
Thank you. I'm Rabbi Ronnie Fine, coming to you from Chabad Zurich and Kadesh in Montreal, Canada. It's a privilege and a pleasure to be with you. Wishing everybody Gemar Chasima Tova, that we should all be sealed for a wonderful, amazing year Ployim bakol, it should be wonderment in everything. We should see the wonderment in everything. Have a wonderful day. Yes, Simcha will have a class tonight.